Hello and welcome back. And in this video we're gonna basically make sure that we save the selected genres along with the book. Okay, and we're gonna also associate the genre to the book. So let's update the save button inside the add new book to include this functionality. So we're gonna basically first go and find the save button, and save button is stuck right here inside this Hstack. And basically what we want to do is we have this published here. Okay, we have our book being created. Now right underneath, right before we are saving the context, we're gonna first insert the genres for the book. So book.genre is equal to, and we're gonna cast the selected genre into an array and basically put that inside the book.genre. So now our book genre has the knowledge of all the genres it belongs to. Okay, now what we want to do is we also want to make sure that all the genres know what books are added under them. So we're going to basically simply take our selected genre, we're going to for each into that by looping into the genre. For each genre we're gonna say genre dot books dot append the book. Okay, and we're gonna make sure we actually context dot insert the genre right here. Okay, to make sure that each genre has the knowledge about the book that is being inserted, and rest of the functionality basically to insert the book remains same. Now once the genre is saved, we'll basically need a way to display we'll need a way to display that along with the book. So let's work on that next. Basically which book has what genre. We don't have a way to see which book has what genre. Alright, so essentially what we are doing is, now we have saved the genre, we need to know if the book is now associated with the genre. So we want to display that information with the book. Okay, so let's open the book detail view. And inside the book detail view, under the book detail, we need to add an Hstack to show the genres that book is associated with. Okay, so we're gonna first find the editing state, the else statement where we are actually showing the book information. We're gonna basically set a new view, basically a new Hstack, but we want to display this Hstack only if the genre is available or a genre is associated with the book. So we're gonna say if not book dot genre dot is empty, so basically book has some genre information, then we're gonna basically say Hstack, create this Hstack, and basically show a for each view for book dot genre, and for each genre display genre.name. Let's go ahead and set the font. Right, so what we are doing here is basically we are creating our genre name for each genre that is stored along with the book, and we are displaying that inside an Hstack. So let's go ahead and launch our view again. First we're gonna basically make sure that we add a book. So let's add a book, and let's add Harry Potter 2 JKR, maybe 2000. It's the fiction, and we're gonna save. Okay, now we have Harry Potter 1 and Harry Potter 2 basically available. And let's go ahead and click on Harry Potter 2 because that's the newly one, and you can see that the genre that we have actually selected is stored right here. If you see the other views, since they don't have any genre information, it is that view is not even displayed. Okay, so basically that whole section is gone, is missing, because there is no associated genre information there. Now we have ability to add genre to the new book, but what about the existing books? Okay, existing books that we have added, for example, the Harry Potter Part 1 and the Hobbit. We don't have a way to add a genre to the book. Okay, so now we need a way to update the book detail view. Like, basically book detail view should include an update capability, so we can actually select a genre for the book. All right, so that is going to be the topic for the next video, where we're going to basically update the book detail view to include the update functionality for a book. Okay, so I'll see you guys there. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we'll basically add a functionality to update existing views so they can have genres as well. Okay, so basically we're going to start by creating a state property inside the book detail view first. So let's go ahead and create @state private for the selected genres. Okay, once again, this is going to be a set of genre type. All right, now one thing that we need to know is this is an update, so book may already belong to a genre or two, okay, from the last update that user must have made. So we need to keep those selections and show them on the UI. So let's update the initializer to include previously selected genres into the selected genre state variable. Okay, and we can do that by simply creating by simply including the initializer, and whatever we have, we're going to leave that, but we're going to also create a new property, or initialize a new property for selected genre by initializing the state.init with the initial value of the book.genre set. Okay, so this will basically bring back anything that is saved for the genre, and if nothing saved, this is basically gonna simply have an empty. Now next, what we'll do is we will add the genre selection view inside the editing state for the view and update the save functionality to save whatever user has selected. Okay, so we are going to go in the editing space, and right underneath this published here, where we're going to add genre related information. Okay, so first we're going to say genre selection view, and we're going to pass in the binding for selected genre. All right, so that view is now ready. Let's go ahead and limit the height for the view as 300 points, so it doesn't grow really big. And inside the save button statement right here, we're gonna basically insert the save functionality that will actually save genre. So first thing, we're gonna empty the existing genre. So we don't need all the genres that were previously there. We're going to empty them out because we have already included them inside the selected genre. So we're going to empty them out, and then we're going to basically take the genre and update it with the newly selected genre. So user may have selected new or removed the existing. So we'll actually basically accommodate all those changes inside the selected genre and save the new genre information. Now you also want to make sure that selected genre knows about these, so we're gonna for each into that for each genre, and we're gonna say if not genre dot books dot contain All right, so basically what we are doing is if genres book collection does not contain the book, we should actually append that as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and build and run and make sure that we have an ability to update the existing books basically with the genre information. So as you can see, we don't have any genre. Let's go ahead and click on edit, and we have our genre selection showing up. This one is also fiction, so let's go ahead and click save. And if we go back, we have the genre information available. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for the Hobbit, and this is also a fiction. So now all three have the genre associated with them. All the books have the genres associated. Okay, all right, so with that we have reached the end of this video, and thanks again for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Hello and welcome back, and in this view we are basically going to display all the books that are under a particular genre. So we are listing genres for each book, but it would be great if we can basically see books under each genre as well. So let's begin by creating a new SwiftUI view for genre details, and we're gonna call this genre detail view. Okay, so go ahead and add a new file, select SwiftUI view template, and we're gonna name this genre detail view. We're gonna create a property inside this, and this property is going to be called genre, and this property is basically going to be used to pass the user selected genre whose details need to be displayed. Okay, so before we actually move forward, let's go ahead and also import SwiftData. Okay, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to the genre list view to include the navigation link detail, so user can basically navigate into this detail view by passing the selected genre information. Okay, so let's go back to genre list view. Okay, and inside the for each, where we are actually iterating over all the genres and displaying their name, we're going to basically include a navigation link, and value that we're going to pass is going to be genre. All right, and we are going to once again display the genre.name as the label. Now one thing we're going to do is we are going to include the navigation destination. So let's go ahead and go outside the for each, or even maybe at the level of list, and we're going to have navigation navigation destination, and we're going to select genre.self as the destination, as the type for the destination, and we're going to basically get access to the genre, and we're going to pass this genre to the genre detail view. All right, so we have basically the link created now. Next, we will update the genre detail view. So let's go back into the genre detail view, and we're going to basically render the list of books belonging to the selected genre. We'll use content unavailable view to display an empty state. We'll use a list view to render books that are under the selected genre and display selected genre's name as the title for the screen. Okay, so let's update the body to include a Hstack first. Inside the Hstack, we're going to have a group, and we're going to say if genre.books is empty. So if genre has books, does not have a book, we're going to show the content unavailable view, and the title is going to be no data. Under this genre, and for the image, we're going to have square.stack.3d.up./ Okay, And for the else condition, basically when we have books, we're going to simply have a list to display each book's title, like that. Okay, and we're going to basically have the navigation title here for genre.name. So we're going to display the genre's name as navigation title. Okay, now let's go ahead and run this and basically go into our genres view or genre tab, and we should be able to select and see all the genres, all the books listed under that genre. And as you can see, we have basically made there is one error that I've made. Let's see, square dot. Okay, so let's check it out. Okay, so this is the one that I intend to use. So I'm pretty sure I've made some. Oh, actually, you know what? The mistake is it should be system image. Okay, not the image. All right, so let's go ahead and try it again. And reason that error was displayed, like, you know, when we selected a genre that didn't have anything, because content unavailable view was triggered at that point. So novel does not have anything, so no books under this genre. Science fiction does not have anything, and fiction basically has all the books that are displayed there. Okay, so now you can see that we have basically completed the whole book and genre relationship, where now books basically display all the genres they belong to, and genre displays all the books that are under them. Okay, all right, with that we have reached the end of this video. I will see you guys in next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. And in this video we're going to be basically first resolving an issue that basically I noticed while updating some of the bugs. Okay, so let me show you what the issue is, and then we'll actually talk about the fix. Okay, so if I go ahead and build and run the app, we basically have these few entries. Now when I went in and started editing some of the fields, actually, for example, change the Hobbit to let's say change the Hobbit to Hobbit, and JRR, let's add some spacing and click save. Everything works fine. Basically those updates are okay, but watch what happens when I update the year part. Okay, so if I update the year part to 1937 and then save it, I can't click on save. Right, so when I started debugging, I actually found that there is an issue of formatting. So let me show you what I did first. So I went here inside the book detail view. I put a breakpoint right where we are actually at the first line of the save button. Okay, to make sure that save is being called. Right, so as soon as we have the save button, I'll actually click on save, and notice that we actually hit the breakpoint. Okay, next thing what I did is I tried to print the object, the current object that we have our breakpoint on. So I'm going to say PO. The published year is basically a state property that actually stores its value inside underscore published year. Okay, so as you can see, all the other state properties have underscore representation, not only state but, like, you know, the binding as well. Okay, so we're going to select the published year, hit enter, and then what you're going to see is the state property, the value itself is coming as nil. So that means this particular line, which is guarding us from saving essentially the nil value, is gonna detect that, hey, there is a nil value in published year, so I should skip this. I should not continue forward. So as soon as I click basically go over the breakpoint or step over, it'll just exit the entire save functionality, and that's why nothing seems to happen basically on the UI side. Okay, so to fix this, basically what I did is I went back into the add new book, and I realized that we have the text field for add new book, and we have defined it to be formatted as a number. Okay, but if we go back into the book detail view and look at the way we are actually saving the text field is a number formatter. So what's going to happen is the type is going to convert, and type is going to convert in a way where the transformation back into the number may lead into a nil value, because there might be a comma, or there could be something that's actually leading to this. So the fix is to change this into format, okay, and just say number. Okay, now if we actually run this, we're going to see another issue. All right, so let's go ahead and build and run, and I'll show you what the issue is. So let's go ahead and click on the Hobbit again, and we see everything okay now. Just click on edit, and notice that we have this comma appearing. Now this is called number grouping, essentially to represent numbers that are in thousands place or in million place and stuff like that, and different locales handle it differently. All right, so for US, it's basically thousands place is separated by a comma. Okay, so it's just a number representation, essentially giving us the opportunity to basically show the number in a more readable fashion. Now let's go ahead and change this and click on save. Okay, so when we click on save, let's go ahead and print again the published year and see what our object actually representing. So we'll give it a minute to print the object, and now if you notice that we actually get the state property as optional int. Okay, and which is what we are expecting. Essentially now here in this line, we are extracting that optional value out, and we are updating the book information, so we can actually proceed and our change is saved. Okay, so what about the fix? What about this comma, because it doesn't look really good in this scenario. Now we can easily fix this one by saying that grouping for the number should not be allowed. So we're just gonna say grouping, number dot grouping, and just mention never. So we're gonna pick the option never, and once we run now, we should actually see the number okay, without any commas. There we go, and we can still make the change. Click save, and then just step over and continue and see our change taking place. Okay, so as you can see, our change has taken place and 1938 is now reflected. All right, so this was the bug that was specifically related and with the number, and a very specific scenario that we were actually encountering. So I just wanted to make sure that we have a clean app before we actually proceed to the next section. Okay, right, and but before we proceed actually to the next section, what we want to do is we want to make sure that our UI is looking a little bit clean and less confusing. What I'm talking about is basically this edit button. So there are more than times where basically when user is editing, they may click on done and just walk away after entering the new value, but that would not reflect the change, essentially because user is not making the change. They're just editing, entering into the edit state and exiting from the edit state. So we need to actually clean our UI to basically give user options to only those things that are relevant in that particular flow. For example, when we are in the edit flow, it doesn't make sense for us to show the notes section, and it also doesn't make sense to show the done button. And we have save button here, and that is the main button that we want user to click other than walking back into the main view. Okay, so let's go ahead and address that. Now we can address it with we can address the first one, which is showing this notes section by putting this inside if block, and we're gonna say if is editing, or if it's not editing basically, then show the section for notes. Okay, this way we only show the notes section when we are not in the edit state. Okay, so let's go ahead and relaunch, and if we click on edit, as you can see that we have our notes section is now no longer there, and we only have, like, this book detail which we are modifying. Now how about this done button? Now done button, we can actually do something similar. We can say basically if the done button is show it, like, when it's editing, but don't show it. But there is another way to do this. There is a modifier called hidden in SwiftUI that is provided. It basically hides the view or hide the view on which this modifier is applied. But the problem with this modifier is there is no condition that we can define that hide on this condition. Okay, so we can actually improve upon that, and we're going to build our own custom modifier and basically provide the ability to conditionally show and hide. Okay, so we're going to call this hidden modifier. Hidden modifier because I don't want to, like, change the name or be in the conflict with the framework itself. So we're just going to import SwiftUI, and we're going to create our struct hidden modifier. We're going to basically extend the protocol or conform to the protocol called view modifier. Now the only requirement for this view modifier protocol is to expect the definition for the body function. Okay, and this body function basically is just your regular body function. But before we actually define what the body is going to look like, we need to expect a variable, and we're going to simply say that is enabled. It's expected to be passed in. Okay, by default we're going to say it is false. It's enabled, or is enabled, meaning that the content should be visible. Okay, by default it should be visible. So we can say if is enabled is true, then we want to apply the hidden modifier to the content. And content is basically anything that has been, like, passed in. So if when you apply the modifier, wherever you're applying that modifier, whatever basically came before that modifier is wrapped into the content. So you have everything, like, that has been done so far on the view available inside the content. Okay, so we're going to say content dot hidden when the is enabled is true. Otherwise we're going to say just return the content. Okay, just the plain old content that we have. Okay, now we have the modifier ready, but we want to make sure that we can actually use it just like any other modifier in SwiftUI. So we can do that by extending the view protocol, and we're going to say there is going to be a new function called hidden, and there is no possibility of conflict because we are going to provide a hidden with the variation which is going to expect a boolean value to be passed in. This will return some sort of view. Okay, and we're going to call modifier our hidden modifier. Passing in is enabled, just like that. Okay, now if we go back into our book detail view, we can apply this hidden modifier, and we can say that is enabled is basically tied to is editing. All right, let's go ahead and build and run, and we can now see that our is hidden is now basically conditional. Basically is hiding the button when we enter in the editing mode. Okay, so now user can basically save, or they can go back. They can actually cancel the operation by going back, which is quite okay, but we are actually bringing the attention to this save and this edit form. So that is the main purpose of this. Well, if you got other ideas, please feel free to try to improve the UI and make it better. But yeah, I just wanted to show you how you can create your own custom modifiers as well, and include them to use them within your app. Okay, with that, we've reached the end of this video. In the next video, we're gonna start working on adding images adding images to our app, and basically providing the image save support using SwiftData. So we're going to save images using SwiftData, and we're going to see how not to get how to stay efficient when we are storing something that is as big as an image or a blob storage. Okay, all right, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we are going to be talking about storing images with SwiftData. Okay, so our app is looking great, but it's missing book covers. So let's go ahead and add book covers, and this is where we'll actually learn how to store images efficiently using SwiftData. All right, we will start by basically creating a new property inside the book model. And since we are dealing with images, we will store them as data. Okay, so let's head over to the book model, and here we are going to create a new entry called cover. Okay, and we're going to mark this as optional. All right, now this property is marked optional because we are adding a new attribute to our existing app, and previously saved data should not be affected by this change. Now, as long as we are actually adding a new property and adding the value, the optional will be replaced, and then we're gonna basically see the actual image cover or book cover inside. But for the other fields, previously saved books, they are not going to be affected because this field is marked as optional. Okay, now images are large, and it is not a good idea to store them in the data store directly due to the performance issues. When you're trying to load the images back, they're going to be loaded in the memory, and they are going to be stored in the database. So basically, when you're loading the data store, you're loading all the images that are saved in the data store into the memory, which is not a good idea. So we are going to basically opt in to save only the reference of the image, and the actual data for the image can be located somewhere else. Now we can actually take care of this on our own using file system and file management, but this we don't have to do manually because we can leverage SwiftData's attribute macro and define in this schema configuration where to how to store or handle the images binary data. Okay, so all we gotta do is we gotta go to our property that we have, attribute it with the attribute macro, and here we're gonna say the schema attribute, the storage option, is basically the external storage. Now what it does is basically stores the value, the actual value, as a binary data next to the model storage, next to where the model is actually stored. So your image is not saved directly inside the database or the data store, but it is saved externally, and only the reference is added to the data store, which is quite efficient for the memory when you're loading it back. Okay, so we're going to choose external storage. Now with this change, we are ready to store book covers. So let's basically update our add new book view to include a photo picker, so users can select a book cover from their photo library. Okay, so we're gonna start by importing the Photos UI. Okay, Photos UI gives us the ability to add a photo picker that we can actually launch. Now we're gonna add two state properties, one to bind with the photo picker and another to store the data for the data form of the selected image. Okay, so we are going to add basically at state private var selected cover all right, and both of these properties are going to be optional. All right, so let's now update the UI to select photos. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to head into our navigation stack. Okay, we're going to find where the book title and everything is. So these are the book titles, and right before basically the genre selection, let's see where we want to put it. Okay, so let's add it right before this. All right, we'll try to add it here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to add an Hstack. Okay, and this is going to have a photo picker. So photo picker takes it has several initializers, and but the one that we are interested in takes a selection, matching, and the photo library. Okay, so we're gonna basically say selection is gonna be stored where. So we're gonna say selection. It will be basically stored in selected cover parameter, or it'll be bound to selected cover. The matching is basically what kind of items from the photo gallery. So we have options of basically capturing different kind of images that are saved based on different categories, and we are actually interested in images. So we're gonna say just the images, matching images. So this is sort of like a filter that you're applying on the photo picker. And then you have photo library. Okay, so photo library, and we're gonna say just take the shared library. Okay, now photo picker has a completion block which actually displays the label that you want to show, which is basically a button essentially to launch the photo picker, and we're gonna simply display a label here, and we're gonna call this label add cover. Okay, and it is gonna have a system image which is gonna be book.cover closed. Okay, let's go ahead and add some padding in vertical direction. Okay, now right underneath, or next to it, we're gonna add a spacer. Okay, and this is an Hstack, so we are basically going horizontal, and we're gonna basically put an if condition saying if the selected cover data is available, we want to show that data. Otherwise, we want to show an image which is basically a generic system image. Okay, so if let selected cover data is available, okay, then we can extract that and show something, and we'll come back to this one in a minute. But for the else case, we're going to simply show a system name of photo. We're going to make this resizable, scale to fit, and let's give it a frame width and height as 100 and 100 points. Okay, all right, so with that change, let's go ahead and run this and see if we have a photo picker available. Okay, so we have our UI, and let's go ahead and click on click on add new, and that you can see as you can see that we have the add new book available. Basically, we can now add a cover to the book, and we are showing like the label which can actually a button for the photo picker which can launch the photos and only the photos part, and we can also see that there is a placeholder that's been shown where the actual photo or the preview of the photo that we are saving for this book is going to be saved. Okay, and I feel like the location is good. It's right underneath the author before the publish year, but you can change it based on your need as well. Okay, all right, so what we're going to do is we are going to head back, and just before we actually start doing something with the image, we need to make sure that we actually have selected and stored or shown actually the user what kind of image that they have selected. So the preview part. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on that. So in the next video, we are actually going to be continue to work on this, and going to populate this area and cover the add new screen. Okay, so I'll see you guys there. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be basically first extracting the selected images data into our selected cover data. So we have a variable, it's called selected cover data, and it is a data type, and what we want to do is whenever a user has selected an image which is of type photo picker item, we want to extract binary data and populate this selected cover data. All right, now since this operation of data extraction is asynchronous in nature, we will use the task modifier to retrieve the data from the selected photo. Task modifier basically comes from the Swift async and await pattern. Okay, so let's go ahead and go all the way down where we have like our navigation title. Excuse me, and we will attach a task modifier here. Okay, task basically makes any asynchronous, makes it possible for us to call any asynchronous functions. So if you create your own asynchronous functions, you can actually use task to initiate and call those functions, and it will actually await for the response. Okay, and you're going to see basically how it awaits. Now one thing that we want to basically make sure to do is that task can be associated with a particular operation. So we're gonna basically assign an ID, and this ID is gonna be on the selected cover. Okay, and basically this is gonna help us whenever the user changes the image, the selected image, then this task is gonna basically know that, hey, there is no operation that's ongoing on behalf of this selected cover. So it'll actually extract the image or data from the photo picker item for that particular selected image. Okay, so that's why this task ID selected cover is important. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to extract data. So we're going to try await on selected cover, and we're going to use load transferable type. Now load transferable type function is basically here, in this case it's used with photo picker item, and this function actually provides us the ability to convert the foundational data. Okay, since the photo picker conforms to the transferable photo picker item conforms to the transferable protocol, it enables our model to participate in system sharing and data transfer process. All right, that is why we are able to use load transferable function. All right, so we're going to basically pass data.self because this takes a type that we want to transfer the data to, and in return it actually gives us the data. So we're going to basically take our selected cover and assign the data. So the data that we are actually extracting after this await operation, we actually are going to use that to populate our selected cover data. Now that gives us the data, and now we have the data in selected cover data property. So let's go back into the picker section, and we're going to basically add the code to display the selected image. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we're going to use the image and one of the images overload, which can actually load a UI image, and we're going to pass the UI image inside the image view. Now, UI image, reason we are using it because it has ability to convert a raw binary data into an image format. Okay, so basically we're gonna take the first UI image. There is the overload that takes data. We're gonna pass our selected cover data into that. Okay, so that is going to give us the UI image part, and then we're going to use this UI image to convert and basically get the image. Now this operation right here is also returns an optional, so we don't know whether we're gonna get the image or not because it could be an optional. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually create another let next to the if let to basically have both of these information extracted before we go inside this if block. Like, you know, if conditional true, this is the true block right here, and we want to go inside when we have a selected cover data and we have an actual UI image that we can actually convert into a UI image. Okay, all right, so once we have successfully extracted an image and converted it into a UI image, then we're gonna basically use image views overload that takes UI image and pass the image that we have extracted. Okay, and we're gonna make this resizable, also scale to fit. We're gonna clip its size, so clip shape, and we're gonna clip with the new modifier that actually takes rectangle as dot rect with corner radius, and we're gonna set this to 10 points. Okay, now we're gonna set the frame as well for width and height. Okay, and not minimum width and minimum height, but let's go ahead and try it again. Dot frame width height, this one. Okay, and we're gonna set these to 100 like so. Okay, so basically these two images are gonna match in size, so they're gonna have like the same size. Okay, so let's go ahead and build and run and see if we can actually see the image that user has selected inside the add new book view. Okay, so I'm gonna build and run, and let's check it out. Okay, so I think my simulator just restarted, so for that reason it was taking a little bit time. So let's go ahead and add a new book. Okay, and we're gonna click on this add cover. Okay, and let's pick any image. So right now I'm gonna pick this one, and there we go. We have the image which is now parsed and shown as the image view inside this little preview view. Okay, and we can change this. We can change it to have, like, you know, something other than the current image that we have picked, so we can actually pick any of these. Okay, so one thing that would make sense is to have some relevant images, for example, like, you know, for Harry Potter or any of those. So what we're going to do is we can simply download these images from internet, add it into our photo gallery, and then whenever we would point the photo picker to the gallery, it'll actually fetch that image. So in the next video, or before the next video, I'll add some images so we can actually pick the actual images before start creating our book entries. Okay, so I'll see you guys there, and we'll also handle the case where we have so far been able to select an image, display an image, but we can't save the image. So let's go ahead and save the image, so image is associated with a record of the book. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be handling the save part of the image or the book cover, and we're going to save that book cover in SwiftData. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So what I've done basically is I've actually imported some of the images in photo gallery, and basically these are the images for the books, and I could find these images on Google, so I stored them inside the photo gallery. So whenever we go actually inside our app, we would actually be able to see these images. So for example, if I go just add a cover, I can actually now select, for example, Chambers of Secret as one of the options. And as you can see, the cover looks pretty good. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to go back into our view and first handle the save scenario. Okay, so the save scenario basically is pretty simple. What you gotta do is we already have the data related to the book inside the selected cover data, and we have extracted that data right here. We've extracted that data from the selected photo item and stored that inside the selected cover data. So we are using that data to display the image in the preview, but we will also use the same data when we are saving this file. So we can actually save this image as a blob storage, like, as a binary data onto the disk. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we have this book.genre where we are setting genre. Right underneath this, what we're going to do is we're going to say if let selected cover data, okay. So essentially, if you name the variable same as this one, you don't have to write if let selected data is equal to selected data. SwiftUI, or Swift actually rather, can basically guess that you're actually trying to safe unwrap the selected cover data, or that optional parameter or optional variable, and then it can actually just give you the actual value, unwrapped value. Okay, so that's why we are doing if let selected cover data, and then we're gonna simply reach out to the cover property of the book, and we're gonna say selected cover data. And as you can see, selected cover data is no longer an optional property. It is actually an extracted or unwrapped value. Okay, believe it or not, this is mostly it that you need to do in order to save this image into the database. And the reason is because we are actually already doing the save operation for the book right here. So that means, like, whatever property is updated, that property is also going to be saved inside inside the SwiftData. Okay. All right, with that change, let's go ahead and build and run one more time. And I've deleted the Harry Potter and the Chambers of Secret book, so I'm going to add it back. Let's add a book cover, and I have the just right book cover for that. And this is basically a fictional book, so I'm gonna save this, and now we have our entry created. Now as you can see that we have our entry created, but we don't have a way to know whether we are actually able to save the image successfully or not. Okay, so that is the topic for next video, where we're gonna actually handle the case to read back the image data from SwiftData and display it onto our UI. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be reading data back from SwiftData. So our app is progressing quite well, and we've added a feature to save book covers, but we still need to implement a method to verify whether the cover can be retrieved from the disk or not. Let's focus on incorporating the saved book cover into the book list view and display it alongside the respective book. Since most of our logic to display belongs inside the book cell view, we will update that to include the fetched image from the persistent store. Okay, so let's head into the book cell view. Okay, and this is our book sale view, and basically what we're going to do is we are going to find a place to display this book cover. Okay, and the best place is to basically include it in right above this text where we actually show the title. Okay, so we have basically title and Hstack, which is basically showing all the author information. So all these are displayed right here, so we can actually display the book right before that. So let's create an Hstack and move this guy inside the Hstack. So we have the book cover on one side and then the detail about the book on the other side. Okay, so we're gonna simply check if we can get the cover from the book.cover, and we can extract the image using UI image data overload, which actually will use the extracted cover information and extract and create a UI image. So if we can actually perform these two operations, essentially extract the cover data out of the SwiftData and convert it into a UI image, we can actually enter this if let block and create an image view using UI image overload, passing the image the cover that actually we have extracted. Okay, the image that we have extracted. Okay, and we're going to make this resizable, and let's also make it scale to fit. Let's clip size or clip shape to a rectangle with corner radius of 5 points, and for the frame, the only thing that we're going to define is going to be the height, and we're going to say the height is going to be 100. Now reason we are defining only the height and not the width, because we are doing scale to fit, and for that reason, whenever we would actually change the height, the image will automatically grow, maintaining its aspect ratio. Okay, all right, with that we have actually done pretty much what we needed to do. So if we launch the if we launch the app now, you can see the book image for the saved book now appears next to the book itself. Okay, so this is working fine. There is a slight issue right here, so let's go ahead and fix that. Okay, so what we can do is we can move these in a single line. So we have the name of the book, author, and published appearing in a vertical stack. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is remove this padding, remove the spacer, and change this Hstack to a group, because we are still applying these two basically these two modifiers as a group. So we're going to change this as a group. So let's go ahead and build and run, and we might actually have to define the alignment. Okay, so this looks good, but it'll be good. Let's try it out and see if we actually change the alignment to say top. Okay, so basically everything is aligned at the top. That way the image starts at the top and our text also starts at the top, and it grows this way. Okay, so this looks a little bit better. So yeah, so this is how we're gonna keep it, and with this, we can now read the image data back from the SwiftData. Okay, from the database essentially. Now next thing what we need to do is whenever user goes into the detail view, we can actually show them the same image, but we also want to basically give them ability to add an image, and that is going to be applicable for those books that are basically that have been added before we added this add image functionality or add book cover functionality. So we need to find a way to update an existing image and basically edit or update an existing book and add an image into that entry. So the these two books that we have that doesn't have any book cover, they can have book cover as well. Okay, so that's going to be the task for next video, where first thing we're going to do is we are going to display the book image right here on the detail view, and then upon clicking the edit, we can actually allow them to select an image and save that image as the book cover for the book that they are editing at that point. Okay, all right, with that we have reached the end of this video. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to continue working on our image reading from SwiftData, and we're going to basically add the book cover to the book detail view as well. Okay, so we'll start by adding basically to the view only mode, adding the image to the view only mode, and then displaying that, and then we're going to continue from there and add basically an image picker control, just like in the add new book view, to basically let user choose a different book cover. Okay, all right, so we're gonna get started. Let's first go into the book detail view, and in the book detail view, under forms, when we are not editing, so collapse the editing part, we're going to basically go where we are showing all the information about the book, and we are detecting, like, where genre is not empty, so we can display the genre. Right underneath, we actually are going to create a section, and not a section, basically a if block, and we're going to say if let cover is equal to book.cover, and let's get the image, so UI image, using its data overload, passing the cover. This will give us the access to UI image that is stored in the form of binary data inside SwiftData. Okay, so we now have the access to the image, so we're going to simply create an Hstack. We're going to basically show a text book cover, a spacer, and an image with UI image overload initializer. Okay, and we're going to pass our image that we have unwrapped right here into this. Let's go ahead and resize this, make sure it's scaled to fit, and we are also going to clip shape rect. Let's see. Okay, so rect corner radius, that's what it's called, and there you go. Okay, so we get, like, basically a rounded rectangle with corner radius 5. That's how we are clipping. And for the frame, we can actually set the height to be 100 points. Okay, and with that, all the changes are basically done to display the book cover on the book detail view. Okay, so whenever we would now go to the book detail view, we would actually be able to see the book cover right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and find find the book that has the book cover that we've actually loaded, and then we're gonna basically click on the detail, and we're gonna see that we have a book cover right there. Okay, if you go inside the other books where the cover doesn't exist, it will not show up there, but it'll show up right here basically to show the book cover. All right, so with this, basically we have added a ability to show the book cover when user is in viewing mode, but when user enters the editing mode, we don't have that section available yet. So let's go ahead, and in the next video we'll basically add the support to add an image to an existing book entry. So in this case, Hobbit needs a book, and Philosopher's Stone for Harry Potter needs a book cover. So we're gonna basically add a book cover for both of these. So we have like, a little bit more consistent UI, and like, app looks a little bit more complete. Okay. All right. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we are going to be adding the support to add an image for an existing book entry. Okay, so for existing book entry. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start by importing a Photos UI inside the book detail view. Okay, so let's go ahead and import Photos UI. Okay, and next we are also going to create state properties for the book cover selection, similar to what we did in add new book view. Okay, so we're going to create two state properties. All right, and these properties are very similar or same as the add new book view. Okay, so the process is going to be pretty much same as we actually did what we did for add new book. So next we'll basically add an Hstack to show the photo picker, so user can basically select a book cover. And this time we are going to actually do that edit inside the is editing block. So whenever user is editing, we are actually displaying the text fields and the genre selection mode right there. But we also want to show basically a photo picker, and let's display the photo picker right before the genre. So I'm going to add book cover right here, and then we're going to basically add an Hstack, and this Hstack is going to have basically a photo picker. This photo picker is going to have a selection and selection is going to be tied to selected cover. Okay, then we're going to have matching filter, which is going to filter out like what kind of images or photos we are interested in from the photo library, and we are interested in only images. And the photo library, okay, that is not what I want. Photo library parameter is gonna be basically this is responsible for telling which photo library to choose. And I'm gonna use a little shortcut to make this a little bit more readable. So the shortcut is Control M, and Control M basically formats all the parameters in single lines basically, so it's a little bit more readable. And this is like newly added in Xcode 15, so you can actually try it out. Now for the body for the photo picker, we're gonna display a label with the label as add cover and system image as book.closed. Let's add padding in vertical direction. Okay, right below this, basically, or right next to, because this is an Hstack, we're gonna have a spacer which is gonna fill the space in between, and then we're gonna basically write the logic that is going to display either the image that is already there, that already exists for the book, or basically a placeholder image using system image called photo. Okay. gonna set the corner radius to 10. Actually we had 5, I think. And then let's set the frame width and height to be 100 points and 100 points. Okay, now for the else block, we're gonna have an image with system name called photo. This is the name of the SF symbol image, and we're gonna make this resizable, scale to fit, and the same frame, 100 by 100. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and launch this. And what we should actually, okay, so let's see if there is something missing here. So I'm gonna actually collapse these. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's extract this out into its own variable. So we're gonna say private var photo picker UI, or book cover UI, actually book cover UI. It's going to return some view, and then we're gonna take the entire Hstack, put it inside, and then call book cover UI right there. Okay, so if there's any issue, we'll actually find that out here. Okay, there we go. So basically, okay, so this is not selected cover data. So we are actually selecting, let's see, selected cover is basically our data photo picker item. Okay, so we get the photo picker item. If there's anything, actually I think it should be, yeah, we have not added the task part yet. Okay, so we want to actually add the tasks. So selected cover data, we want to extract that, and then we want to say pass that data into the selected cover data. Now we are actually extracting the data out, and we can actually validate this logic from the add new book. So this is the same logic. So let's go ahead and yeah, there we go. If let's selected data, blah blah blah, and we have that. Okay, so this is the exact same UI that we are building, and while we are here, we're gonna actually grab this task, and this task is basically going to unwrap that selected cover for us. Okay, so we're gonna go all the way down. Right after the toolbar, we're going to add this data. Basically, we are once again loading or converting the photo picker item into the binary data. That's what we are doing here. Okay, so if user has basically selected the photo, in that case, we are basically simply going to display that, or we're going to actually display a placeholder. Let's go ahead and run at this point to make sure that we have our UI visible. So we're going to click on the edit screen, and there we have it. We have our add cover, and we can actually pick an image. So let's pick Hobbit, and our image is showing up fine. Now if we click save, our image is not going to be saved because again we have not added that logic to save the image yet. Okay, so let's basically store the image in SwiftData. So go under the save function. Okay, and basically what we want to do is right here, right before, or actually you can do it right after. So save book cover. Okay, and we're gonna say if let selected cover data. Okay, if there is a data, assign that to the book cover, and save that. So selected cover data. Okay, so now we are actually saving that book cover that user has selected. So if we build and run now, clicking on Hobbit and basically selecting the image that we want to display and clicking save, should save the image for the Hobbit as well, and we can see the image right there now. Okay, all right, so basically now we have added the functionality to update the book cover for the existing books and add a book cover basically for them. Okay, so we just added, like, for the Hobbit. Now in the next video, we are basically going to add a logic which is going to display which is going to fix this issue. So as you can see now, what's going on is when you're in the editing mode, our add cover logic is still displaying the placeholder, even though we already have excuse me, we already have an image or a book cover for this. So what we want to do is we want to show that book cover, the existing saved book cover, instead of showing the placeholder. Okay, so we're going to fix that in the next video. I'll see you guys there. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're going to update the edit flow for our book detail view to include the book cover if it already exists, and if it's not, then we'll show the system image. Okay, so if there is already a book cover, we're going to show that, and otherwise we're going to show the system cover. Okay, so let me show you, and I'm pretty sure you exactly know what I'm talking about because we talked about it in the last video. But instead of showing this system placeholder, for this case, because Hobbit already has an image, we want to show the Hobbit book cover rather than showing the placeholder. Okay, so what we're gonna do for that is we're gonna basically add an else if condition inside the logic which is handling the book cover. So book cover UI, this logic right here, here in this line, let me make it a little bit more readable. This line, what we are doing is we are basically we are extracting the book cover data and we are converting it to UI image. And if this is not the case, then we directly go into the else case. Now what we want to do is we want to add one more else if statement here, and we want to say if the cover exists inside the book cover. Okay, then take that cover, convert it into an image using UI image data overload, and then basically use that logic. Okay, so I'm gonna basically collapse it like this, makes it a little bit easy to read, and we're gonna make this multi-line. There we go. Okay, so what we want to do here is once we have basically book cover extracted from the database itself, right, we want to display that image. So we're gonna say UI image, and UI image has an image. So this image is basically we're extracting here. So we're gonna take that image and supply it to UI image overload for the image view. We're going to make this resizable, and actually we can take all these modifiers and apply that here. Okay, so actually we need resizable as well. So everything resizable, scaled, clip shape, and the frame. Okay, so now what's going to happen is we are going to show the book cover if it already exists inside the book object. Okay, let's go ahead and build and run, and what we should see is when we select the Hobbit, enter the editing mode, instead of seeing the system placeholder, we should see the actual Hobbit image. Now, just for kicks, I'm going to change this to Harry Potter, and I'm going to save it, and there we have, like, Hobbit is saved with the Harry Potter. So let's go ahead and edit that and basically change it back to the Hobbit. Okay, now there's one issue I'm seeing here. This right here still reads as add cover. Rather, we are in the editing mode, so we should say actually it's an update, not an add. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a little conditional inside the photo picker. So let's go into the photo picker right here, and this is going to be a conditional statement, and we're going to say if the book dot cover is nil, okay, then show the add cover, but if it is not, then show the update cover. Okay, this way basically the system can figure out whether the book cover object exists or not, and if it does exist, then we actually show update cover rather than showing the add cover. Okay, now in this case right here, Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone, this one does not have basically a cover associated with it. So if we enter in the editing mode right now, this is still gonna say add cover because we have not added any cover here. So let's go ahead and add a cover. Okay, so I'm going to click add cover, and this is the book cover for the first book of Harry Potter. So I'm going to select that and click save, and now all of our books basically have an image. Okay, and with that we have reached the end of this video. We have also wrapped up everything that we want to do with the images, storing images in SwiftUI. Okay, so let's continue our journey to learn SwiftData using this example, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be talking about filtering data in SwiftUI. So the progress on our application has been quite promising so far, but there is a crucial feature that is currently missing, and is the ability to search books within our reading list. Now this particular feature is significant for a number of reasons. One, user convenience. The ability to search books in the reading list is a key element for user convenience. As the reading list will grow over time, user may find it increasingly challenging to locate specific books manually, or specific book manually, especially if there are substantial number of titles in the list. So search functionality simplifies this process by allowing user to quickly find the book they are looking for. Now, efficiency is another aspect to this. Without a search feature, the user may need to scroll through the entire list of book basically to find the particular book that they're looking for. This can be time consuming, frustrating, particularly when the list is a lot long and there are a lot of books. So search functionality is a significant improvement for the efficiency of app and saving your users time and effort. Now third, and not least important, but another most important aspect is enhancing the user experience itself, where a search functionality is fundamental aspect, enhancing the overall user experience, and users are more likely to enjoy and continue to use the app as it offers the features that convenience them and makes their life easier. Okay, so with that said, we understand how important it is to add a search functionality. So let's add a search functionality to our book list view, and we're going to start by creating a state property to bind a search text with the search field. Okay, so head over to book list view, and what we need to do is we need to create a state variable. We're going to call this variable search term, where we're going to be storing basically all the searches that user is doing, current search that user is typing, and this is going to be bound to the search field. It's going to be a string type, and initially it's going to have an empty value. So there's there's nothing in the search. Okay. Now we need to create a new computed property with the name filtered books. Okay, and this property will serve a collection of books based on the provided search term. When the search is blank, essentially like the default case, the property will yield all the fetched books from the database. Conversely, when the search is specified, there's something there, then it'll conduct a search by comparing the book titles to filter and provide the relevant books. Okay, so we're simply going to create a filtered books. This is going to be a type book, basically an array of book, and this is going to be a computer property. First thing we're going to do is we're going to guardlet the search term. Actually, guard search term dot is empty. Then we want to make sure that the search field is not empty. If it is empty, then we want to simply return the books that we have right here. Books are coming from the query macro, so we're going to simply return that. If that is not the case, then we're going to return books but filter them based on the condition. Okay, so we're gonna take the book that is provided, that we are currently iterating on, get its title, and do a localize case insensitive contains. Okay, so this is basically gonna localize the string and basically ignore the cases, basically uppercase or lowercase, and then it's gonna do a contains search whether the book title contains the search term. Okay, now if it contains that, it is basically going to return that as a part of the filter, and the book is going to be saved. So all the books that are basically going to be returned are going to contain that search term. Okay, now for the search field, we will leverage the searchable modifier. Searchable modifier adds a search interface to your app by applying one of the searchable view modifier. Okay, searchable view modifier basically uses searchable text placement and prompt method signature, and it can be applied to navigation split view or navigation stack, or you can actually place the view inside any of the other views. Okay, and the search field would appear. Okay, so let's go ahead and head over inside our navigation stack, and right after the for each on delete, we're going to add our searchable. Okay, as you can see, searchable text placement and prompt is provided, so we're going to choose the version that actually gives us option for text and the prompt. Okay, and it's actually selected a different one, so we'll change that, but this is going to be bound to the search term. Essentially the text is basically what user is typing, and we're going to change this to prompt. Okay, and prompt is a text type, so we can actually simply provide a text or text view or just a simple string. Okay, so this should basically add a search field to our list. Okay, so we're gonna just go ahead and build and run, and we'll see if the search field is added to our view or not. All right, it's loading up. Again, this is the first time it's booting, so as you can see, the search field is not visible, but as you scroll down, it'll actually become visible. And this is a common pattern among iOS apps, so you can actually follow that, or you can change the searchable to always display. Okay, we're gonna leave it like this. Okay, now you can basically search, for example, Harry Potter, and it's not filtering. However, the reason is we are still binding this for each to the books, and we need to change that, and we need to make sure that we are actually using the filtered books instead of using books. Let's try it again. There we go, and we have our search working. Okay, so we can search for Hobbit, can search for Harry Potter. So let's search for Hobbit, go into the detail, come back, and we can cancel out of the search. Okay, so yeah, it's that easy to basically build a search experience using the searchable modifier and add it to your app. Now, there's been one thing that has been growing in the list is basically the number of files. We are building on a lot of functionality in this app, but we are actually losing which item is where. So let's go ahead and hop on to the next video where we're gonna clean up the project a little bit, organize this in a folder structure so we can better identify what belongs where. Okay, so I'll see you guys there. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to do a bit of cleanup. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically create folders for different functionalities and then move those corresponding functionalities into those folders. That way we can identify what is going there. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to create three main so we have three main areas here. We have books, genre, and notes. So let's go ahead and create book section, a section for genres, and a group, basically a group for notes. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to basically create the view and the model. So views in model folder structure inside. So all the models related to books will go inside the books folder, and similarly we're going to do the same thing for the genre. And what we're going to do is we're going to move these items. So book will go inside the book model. Okay, note will go inside the note model. And don't worry about all the issues that we are seeing right now. They're all going to be resolved as soon as we're done moving these things. Okay, so as you can see, our models folder now does not contain anything, so we can actually simply get rid of this. We can do the same thing for the views. So all the views related to book, the ones that say book, we can actually take them and move them inside the book view. Okay, and we are done with books, so we can actually collapse that. And we have notes, so we can take the notes and move them inside the notes view. Okay, and I think we are done with notes. Now we have genre, and we have genre list and selection detail. We can actually move all of these here. There we go. Now we have this hidden modifier, which is a common modifier that can be used by anyone. So what we can do is we can simply rename this folder, and we can call it components. Okay, so that way all the components will go here, and there we have it. We have better organized folder structure with their own hierarchy, so we know what is going where, and we can actually sort of organize them. So book and genre would come first, so book, genre, notes, and then you have all the components. Okay, so now this way you know what is living where and what to modify whenever we are dealing with genre. We'll actually go into the genre section, basically work on its views or its models, so we'll always know where it is, and our code is a little bit better organized. Okay, let's go ahead and build and run to make sure everything still works and we have not lost any functionality. So as you can see, our app still works, and we can actually quickly try out a couple of things. So we can try out the filtering, we can check out the details, and as you can see, we have some sort of issue here. That book detail is Okay, let's go ahead and see what's going on here. Okay, so that's one functionality that we need to fix. There's some sort of bug there, and this seems to be working fine. Yeah, this seems to be working fine. Okay, so the only problem that we have is basically on the book detail. Whenever we go in the book detail, we click back and we actually land again in book detail. So let's go ahead and try it out. Try to see what's going on first. So when we click on Harry Potter, we are clicking on the we clicked on the last one, I believe, Chamber of Secret, but it landed on the Philosopher's Stone, not the book that we actually clicked on. Then clicking on back actually went into that Philosopher's Stone and then the Hobbit. So it's basically looking at all the books and displaying the details for them. Okay, so let's go ahead and go inside the book list view first. And I believe this has something to do with the navigation destination. Okay, so navigation destination is defined at the list level. Let's go ahead and try this. Try to move this inside the list for each, and now this is a little bit closer to where it should be. And if you note, I think we are still seeing the same issue. Okay, so let's try to debug and see what's going on. Alright, so I believe the only thing that we have added is this searchable. So let's go ahead and move this back. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this searchable, and instead of applying at the for each level, let's apply it right here, right after the destination. It doesn't matter where we are applying, we can actually apply it right in the list as well, as long as it is actually contained inside the navigation stack. So first view inside the navigation stack is the list. So let's go ahead and apply the searchable at that level, and we're gonna basically just quickly build and run to make sure that the issue is fixed. So we clicked on Chamber of Secret, and as you can see, now it is actually working fine. So yeah, so searchable inside the list was causing the issue. So now we have actually resolved the issue by moving the searchable. So there you go, that's our bug that is fixed. Okay, all right, with that we have reached the end of this video. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be talking about sorting data in SwiftData. The query macro holds a pivotal role within the SwiftData ecosystem, primarily serving as a cornerstone for data retrieval and processing. While we've utilized this macro to access books from the persistent store, our usage has been limited to basic scenarios thus far. Let's dive a little bit deeper into query macro's capabilities first. We will use genre list view to explore the query macro, and if we note, we have this query macro listed here, which actually fetches the data sorted by name. But query macro does not need this parameter to work, so we can actually remove this sort and it will work just fine. So if we build and run, you'll see that our query macro still works and still fetches the genre. It just doesn't have the sorted order, or the items that are fetched, they are not sorted. So let's go ahead and give it a go, and I'm going to wait for the simulator to load. Okay, and we'll go into the query macro, in the genre list view, and we can see that all the genres have been fetched properly without any issue. Okay, so the query macro already understands that sorting is not needed, or these parameters are not needed. They are extra parameters. Now this is like, the beginning. So let's explore the query macro a bit more, and we'll use its first overload, which takes a fetch descriptor as a parameter. The fetch descriptor basically is a type that describes the criteria, sort order, and any additional configuration to use when performing a fetch. Okay, so fetch descriptor takes basically a predicate as a parameter, which is a logical condition used to test a set of input values for the searching or filtering. Okay, so in our case, we'll filter the genre by the keyword fiction. Okay, so this is how we're going to write our query. So we're going to have the query macro. Inside the parentheses, we're going to start typing fetch description, fetch descriptor. Fetch descriptor is a generic type, so we're gonna give it the type that we are actually concerned about, and this is, in this case, it's genre. So this fetch descriptor is going to be of genre type. Then we'll create a predicate. Now predicate actually is another macro. Okay, and this will take a parameter that actually lets us define what we are looking for. So for the first parameter, which is basically the predicate itself, the genre itself, we actually get the name, we get the localized standard contains, essentially searching for the keyword that we are looking for, and this is where we are going to actually provide our search item. So we're going to say we are looking for fiction, something with fiction. Okay, and if you go back in our app, we have two fiction items, so both fiction and science fiction should show up in the results. Okay, so with this query and the search in place, we're going to go back and run the code to see if we can actually if we get the filtered result back. And as you can see, our results are filtered using the predicate inside the fetch descriptor. Okay, so but this is not it. Basically what's happening is like, first of all, you can define the animation in the query as well. We're going to take a look at that one in a minute, but when we are talking about this filtering process, you're wondering where the filtering is taking place. Well, the filtering is taking place at the database level. So it's basically similar to running this query inside the SQL. If you're familiar with SQL, it's basically select star from the table name, in this case genre, where the column, which is basically the name column, contains the keyword fiction. So that's how it's actually translating at the database level. So this is what this first fetch descriptor is doing. I'm going to leave this here for the reference, so what kind of query, or what kind of similar looking query. It's not exact query, but what kind of query it executes when searching for the results. Okay, now the another overload of the query that takes the fetch descriptor, it also takes animation as a part of the parameter. Okay, and that animation can be defined using animation, and we have a few animations to pick from, bouncy default, ease in, ease out, and all these. So let's select bouncy. Now if we run this, we are not going to see much difference in our results, because this will be applicable when we come into the dynamic fetching and dynamic querying, which we're gonna take a look in this section. But as you can see, there's no difference whatsoever, because our records are already loaded, and if animation were to play, it already played. Okay, so let's move on. Now, in addition to the fetch descriptor, the query macro takes filter, sort, order, and animation that we just saw as parameters. Okay, so let's try them out one by one. Okay, so we've already tried the fetch descriptor one, so let's see if we can try out the next one. Okay, so the next one is basically where we can give this an order. Okay, so All right, let's see. Come on, you gotta help me out here, query. Actually, you know what? Let's use the other overload. So I'm gonna comment this code right here, and we're gonna write the query. Query. There we go. Query sort genre dot name, and we can define the order, basically order in which we want to receive the results. So you can define forward order or reverse order, and this ordering takes place at the database level. Like, you know, I think there's SQL has a keyword called ascending and descending. That's what's being used in the background, and essentially let's do the reverse. Okay, and the ordering actually is defined there. So what we are doing here is we are basically sorting our genre names by the reverse order. Okay, so science fiction will come first, novel, and then fiction. If you remember, the default was ordered forward, which is basically listing fiction first, then novel, and then science fiction. There we have it. Okay. All right. So we can combine the filtering along with sorting. Okay. So this is what I was trying to do earlier, and we can actually let's combine these two. So I'm gonna take this guy right here, and let's uncomment this, and also format it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to define the sort. Hopefully this will help me. And genre dot name. Okay, and we are going to also order this in reverse order. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this, missing the filter. Okay, yeah, so this is what was wrong. Filter parameter name was the one that was filtering, and we don't need the fetch descriptor. Actually, we can just work with the predicate like this. Let's take a look. Okay, predicate, and there we go. Okay, so we are actually defining the predicate, and then we have like the sorting and ordering defined here as well. Okay, so there we have it. We have our results filtered out by the keyword fiction, and we have it sorted in the reverse order. Okay. All right. Now we have seen all the variations for the query macro, and now we know a bit more about the query macro. So let's use this to build a dynamic sort ordering functionality for our genre. So far, basically, we know how to filter, sort using static data, basically define that in the code. Okay, but we can do this dynamically. We just need to refactor our code a little bit, given our understanding for the fetch descriptor, and basically it accepts a sort descriptor as a parameter. We can actually leverage that insight to create a dynamic sorting mechanism. All right, so to begin, we'll introduce a new enum for genre called genre sort order as the initial step, and this enum is going to basically help us control the order of the genre. Okay, so we're going to go inside the model, and I'm going to create a new file, and we are going to choose a Swift template, and we're going to name this genre sort order. Okay, let's import SwiftUI, and also import foundation if you need any foundation. I think we should be okay. Let's just leave it. Enum genre sort order. This is going to conform to the string because this is going to be a string type. So string, it's going to conform to the identifiable protocol, and also case iterable, so we can actually iterate through all the cases. We're going to have two cases: forward, reverse, We're also going to have an ID, which is going to be a computed value on self, returning the instance of self, like so. Okay. And to get the title, we're actually going to create a property title, which is going to switch over self. For the case forward, it's going to return forward, and for the case reverse, it's going to return reverse. Okay. Now we also need a sort descriptor, which is gonna basically the sort option, and we can pass the sort descriptor inside the fetch descriptor. Okay, so we're gonna simply create sort option. This is gonna be a sort descriptor type of type genre, and this is going to basically have a switch on self. For the case forward, we're gonna return a sort descriptor genre.name. Order is gonna be forward, and I'm gonna copy this. For the case reverse, we are just going to change the order as reverse. Okay. Now we have our enum ready, which is going to basically help us sort the items based on their name in forward or reverse order. Next, we'll refactor our genre list view by creating a new subview called genre list subview. For the code, this is basically for the code that is responsible for fetching and displaying the genre from the data store. Now this subview will take the sort order as the initialization parameter, and we will create our dynamic query based on the selected sort order. So the sort order is going to be passed in as a parameter. Okay, so let's go ahead and inside the view, we're going to create a new file, and this file is going to be a SwiftUI view file, and we're going to name this genre list subview. Okay. And I'm going to remove the preview. Let's import SwiftData. Okay, and we're going to start by creating our query first. So first going to be our query. This query is going to fetch all the genres. We're also going to have an environment variable to fetch the model context. Okay, and then comes our initializer. So our initializer is going to expect a sort order, which is going to be of type genre sort order, and let's define the forward as the default type. Okay, now we need to set this query basically based on the sort order that is passed in by the user. Okay, so what we're going to do is in order to access this query, we're going to actually access this underlying variable, which is called underscore genres. Okay, and we are going to create a new query out of the query initializer query struct, which actually helps us create a query, and we can pass a fetch descriptor. As you can see, we can pass a fetch descriptor here along with the animation. Okay, so we're going to choose that, and basically our fetch descriptor is going to be of type genre. We are going to say it is gonna have a sort by, and as you can see, the sort by takes the sort descriptor of genre type as the parameter. Okay, and we are going to pass this by passing our sort order that has been passed in, and it has a sort option property. Okay, the sort option property automatically selects which sort descriptor we need based on the selected or defined enum value. Okay, and for the animation, let's put snappy as the as the animation. Okay, so this is basically our sorting logic, which is going to be sorting our records based on the sort order passed in during the initialization of genre list subview. And anytime you change something, genre list subview is going to be re-rendered. That means a new option is going to be supplied, so our data will be fetched again, which is going to basically essentially sort our list based on the user selection. Okay, all right, next we're going to basically need a list. So let's go ahead and grab the list from the genre list view. We have this list right here, and this list basically iterates through all the genre values, creates a navigation link which actually displays the text, and it has a delete function. And basically this is what we are going to need. We're gonna let's go ahead and grab the navigation destination as well. So I'm going to grab the whole thing here, and we're going to just call genre list subview here. Okay, and right now we're just going to initialize the default initializer, and we're going to come back and fix this. Let me move this up so we know, these two are related. And for the body, we're going to simply place the list back here. Okay, now the delete function is missing here because the delete function exists at this level, so we're going to actually grab that as well, and let's go ahead and move it in the genre list subview as well. Okay, for the cleanup, we are not using our query or basically genre anymore. I don't think we are. We're definitely not using the context, so I'm going to just comment this, or actually I'm going to remove this. You already have the video, so you can watch this, and we can actually remove the query as well because genre is being fetched directly. Okay, so just a bit cleanup, and now we're going to go back into the genre list view to make sure that we have everything that we need. Let's go ahead and build to make sure everything still builds. Okay, so build succeeded. Now in the main genre list view, we've already removed the query and the model context because we simply don't need it at this point. We're going to add a new state property for the sort option. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a state property. And we're going to set the sort option or the sort order as the forward sorting. Okay, now we are using this genre list subview, and currently we are using the default overload. So let's go ahead and change this and pass the sort order as sort option. Actually, let's rename this to sort order. Okay, and I'm going to just pass in the sort order. Now we are basically passing the sort order that we are asking user to basically define, but we don't have a way to change it, so it's always going to be the forward. So let's go ahead and add a button in the toolbar, and basically this button is going to help us toggle between the forward and the reverse order. Okay, so go in the toolbar section, and right underneath the toolbar that is created for our top trailing, so I'm going to collapse this one. We're going to create a new toolbar item, and this toolbar item is going to be placed at the top bar, maybe leading side, and we're going to create a button. Okay, and this button is going to have sort option or sort order is equal to sort order. So we're going to check the current sort order value. If it's forward, we're going to change this to reverse. Otherwise, we're going to keep it, basically change it to forward. Okay, so it can go back and forth, either sort order, or yeah. Let's define the fully qualified names. Okay, all right. Now we are missing label here, so that's what it is complaining about, label, and it also needs this. Okay, so now we actually want to put a label, and label is going to be a simple image with system name, and this is going to be the arrow dot up dot arrow dot down. Okay, so there's an up down arrow that we're going to show, and let's set the button style to be border prominent. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and build and run and see if we can actually sort our genre list based on the order. So we're gonna go in the genre, and we have the button shown up here. Let's go ahead and click this, and as you can see that we have our list being sorted. Okay, all right, so with that, we have reached the end of this video, where we actually built the whole sorting functionality inside our app and learned how to sort items dynamically using SwiftData. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we are going to be talking about advanced filtering in SwiftData. So the query macro simplifies the process of filtering and sorting data within SwiftData, operating directly at the database level. Now, in the earlier stages of the project, we implemented a search functionality for the book list view, but it relies on in-memory searching. While this approach is efficient for smaller data sets, it becomes less viable as the data size increases. We'll basically refactor the code that we built, and we'll build in an efficient search for the book list view using the query macro. All right, so let's begin by extracting out the list view and convert it into its own subview, and we'll call this subview a book list subview. So we'll first create that subview. We will select a SwiftUI view, and let's call this book list subview. All right, we don't need the preview, so we can actually remove that. And what we're going to do is we're going to move this right under the book list view. Okay, we'll go inside the book list view, and we can basically grab this part right here and replace this with book list subview for now, just like that. Okay, we'll go back in the subview, and in the body we'll just place that back here. Now we'll call this books. Okay, and books is going to call the book cell view. Okay, and it's going to call the delete function. So let's go ahead and make sure we actually bring the delete function as well. Okay, now let's talk about the books. Okay, so instead of passing the books from the book list view, we'll actually fetch them directly from the database in book list subview. With this approach, we will be able to get the opportunity to pass in the correct filter string, and with that filter string, we'll only retrieve the relevant books, and the filtering is going to take place at the database level. We'll basically require access to the context as well in this case in the subview. So we'll actually create two new properties. We'll create an environment variable, which is going to be for model context, and another one is going to be a books property, which is going to be decorated with the query macro. Okay, so we'll simply create them at the top. Let's first import SwiftData, and we will basically create the environment first. The key path that we are interested in is a model context. Okay, and the query is going to be called books, and it is going to be of type book. Okay, so now you can see the errors are gone, and we are actually now fetching the books directly from the database. Okay, now we need to accept a search term as a parameter so we can pass that into the query. Okay, so we'll simply create a new variable called search term, and this is going to be of type string. Okay, now next we'll basically add an initializer which will accept the search term parameter, and this will create a new query based on the search term value. Now we'll create an empty query when the search term is empty, and basically that essentially will return all the books from the database. But if the search term is present and defined, then we'll actually pass that as a predicate and use basically the filter parameter of the query to filter out and retrieve only the relevant books. Okay, so we'll simply create an init accepting the search term, which is of type string, and we're going to default this into an empty string. Okay, and we're going to assign the search term with the search term that is passed in. We're going to next check if the search term is empty, and if it is, we are simply going to say that initialize the query without any condition. Okay, so basically this is going to not the book, it's books. Okay, and basically this is going to initialize the books query. Okay, so we are good there. Now in case when the search term is defined, we can actually create a predicate using the filter property in the query initializer, and we're going to pass the search term inside. Okay, so books is equal to query with filter predicate, and the predicate, let's go ahead and create the closure here, and this predicate is basically going to be the first value dot title dot localized standard contains search term. Okay, this way we actually, what we get is basically a filtered list of books. Now in the main book list view, we will basically go back and fix the book list subview call. Okay, so as you can see here, we actually now require book list subview to pass in the search string and basically the search term, and search term is something that we already have from the previous example, so we're simply going to pass that search term like so. Okay, now with this change, if we build and run, then we should see essentially filtered results at the database level. Okay, so let's go ahead and give it a go, and we'll try filtering some books. All right, so our app is running, and let's go ahead and try to filter it out. So we're gonna filter it out with Harry Potter, and as you can see, our list is being filtered, and we can see the list, not the hey, but let's say Hobbit, and we can actually see the Hobbit. All right, so how do we know whether this search query is actually working at the database level and not at the in-memory level? Okay, we can actually validate that by editing the scheme and printing out the SQL debugging statements. Okay, so we're gonna edit the scheme, and we're gonna basically pass an argument which states that print out the console log with SQL debugging statements. So under run, go ahead and I have this empty, so I'm going to use this one. But if you don't have anything, under argument pass on launch, add one. So let me go ahead and show you. This is what it's going to look like if you don't have anything. Just add, click on add, and paste -com.apple.coredata.sql debug, and there is a space here, and 4 is the value that we are going to pass in. Now 4 is basically a flag. Now this flag ranges from 1 to 4, so you can actually have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now 1 here means that there's less debugging details that are going to be printed in your console. 4 means it's more verbose, so it's going to print pretty much everything. Now we are setting it 4, so we can actually see everything that is going on at the database level. All right, so after setting this, we just simply going to hit enter and close the scheme. Now let's go ahead and rebuild and run and open our console. And what we should see is core data and all the queries that are related to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and search for Hobbit, and let's go ahead and take a look at the query itself. So we are going to find the query, the actual query that was executed. So there we go. So right here is the query that's being executed. So select all the columns from book where the core data string, search string title is ordered by. Basically there is a parameter here, and this is binding to, like, you know, the HO. That's what we typed. So let's say we type Hobbit, like the complete. You can see that the entire search string is passed into the database, and the results are being returned, and the filtering is basically taking place at the backend. Okay, so this proves that basically the new filter functionality that we have put in place is actually working at the database level. All right, with that, we have reached the end of this video. Let's continue to build upon this example to learn more things about SwiftData. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be looking at advanced sorting in SwiftData. We are leveraging the power of predicate-based filtering to drive the search experience in the app. It would make sense to offer sorting options as well. We already have seen the query-driven sort option for book genre. Now, offering sorting options in-app yields numerous benefits. It enhances the user experience by enabling the content organization based on user preferences. It fosters efficiency, customization, and increases the user engagement. Sorting options make content more discoverable, empowers the user by granting control over how they interact with the app, and provide flexibility for different viewing criteria. Additionally, this feature promotes data organization in productive apps and can serve as a competitive advantage, driving user satisfaction and app retention. Let's add sorting capability to the book list view by letting users select sort options. We will let users select and sort content by title, author, and published year. Let's begin by adding a new file called sorting options. This will be an enum of string type conforming to the identifiable protocol to identify each case by an ID, case iterable protocol to be able to iterate over all the enum cases. Okay, so we're going to create a new file here. I think we should create one inside the model folder, and we're going to select Swift template. We're going to name this sorting option. Import from foundation is fine. We're going to create enum called sorting option. This is going to be a string type enum conforming to identifiable and case iterable protocol. Now we will conform to the identifiable protocol by providing a definition for the ID property. Next, we will add basically the cases for the enum, and this enum will contain title, author, published year, and none as the enum values. We need a string representation for each of these cases, so we can basically use that value for the label. Now we can easily define this case as title, and and similarly for all the other cases. But this means that we're gonna actually have to call raw value, which sometimes doesn't make total sense because we are trying to get the raw value. So what I want to do is I want to create a separate property, a computer property, which can actually return the title when I'm requesting a title for the sorting option. We can switch on self instance, and depending upon the value of the self, we can actually return the appropriate title. Next, we'll create a sorting option computed property, and this computed property will return a sort descriptor for each case, which will be used to pass to the query macro. We can copy all the cases here, and we can update the return type. So return is going to be sort descriptor, and sort descriptor takes a key path and the order. So we can define the key path. So these are all related to books key path. So book.title, and the order we're always going to keep as forward. I'm going to copy this and paste it right here and change this to author. Change this to published year, and leave this as title with default ordering. Okay. Next, let's update the book list subview to include a new parameter for the sorting option while initializing the view. Now we'll use this newly passed sorting parameter to update the query that we are actually using and initializing to query the database. Now we're going to include the sort option in the selected value. So we can basically just start by adding a new option or new parameter, book sort option, and this is basically a sorting option type. Default value, we're going to set it as none, and then we're going to basically see if the search term basically none is going to sort our books by title, and then we can actually say that when you have the predicate that has basically value passed in this case, even if the sorting option is passed in, we want to actually give that sort order. So we can simply say sort, and this is where we actually get the opportunity to supply the sort option or sort descriptor, and we're going to say take the book sort option and grab the sort option for that, which actually gives the sort descriptor. Okay, now this is all the changes. This is all the change that we need to do basically in book list subview. Next, we'll update the book list view to handle the sorting option. Okay, so we're going to basically first create a state property to store the sorting options. And we're going to start with the default value as none. Okay, now we will pass this value into the book list subview right here. Like so. Okay, last but not the least, we want to be able to change this value. So we'll add a new toolbar item at the top trailing bar, which will be a menu control. And this control will iterate over sorting options and create the sorting menu. Let's go ahead and give this menu a label. And the label is going to be a simple system image. ellipsis.circle. Okay, now let's go ahead and build and run. And hopefully this error should be gone. Let me go ahead and change the target to alright, so there seems to be some parentheses issue. Let's go ahead and make sure we have a top trailing, we have the menu. Okay, so sort option, I think we need a button here. Yeah. Okay, and this is how we're gonna assign the sort option. Okay, let's go ahead and try it again. Let's build and run, and what we should see is basically a menu, a new menu entry at the top. All right, there we go. And selecting on this, we can actually sort our records. Okay, so let's see if our changes are actually taking place or not. It looks like they are not. Okay, let's debug this. Okay, let's put a breakpoint to our book list subview, and all right, so I think there is an issue here. So basically what we are doing is that we are defining the query, but we don't have any search terms. So that's why it seems like it could be the issue. So let's go ahead and take this query, and I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna just remove the filter option. I'm gonna leave the sort. So in this case, basically search term is there. Search term is not there, then also we can actually sort. Otherwise, if the search term is there, we'll actually be able to sort at that time as well. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, let's try the published year. There we go. We have our sorting working fine. So let's change the author, change the title, and none is basically same as title. And as you can see, our sorting order is basically changing. Okay, so essentially this actually gives us the ability to sort the items based on a different criteria. Okay, all right, so basically we are now able to sort the items using different options. So this is how you can actually expand your sorting options. Okay, with that, we have reached the end of this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we are going to be enhancing some of the UI components to make our app visually appealing. Okay, so our reading logs app is coming together very well, but it is missing a critical component. If a user lands on the first screen for the first time, they would encounter an empty screen. Let's run this in a different simulator and see the effect of user landing on the screen for the first time. As you can see, here we have the reading logs and it's pretty empty. I mean, we have a plus button. User can actually add a book, but let's say if they don't notice, we don't have a nice way to tell user that there's no record available here. All right, so we can enhance this by providing an empty state to eliminate any confusion about the data availability. Now, we will use newly introduced content unavailable view for this scenario. Okay, so open book list subview, right? And then we're going to add a group view around the list view. So we can add a conditional check to display the content unavailable view. So we're going to grab our list view and we're going to add a group view, and let's paste the list view inside. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will check the books property, and if it is not empty, we will display the list view to render all the books. All right, so far so good. Now, what happens in the else part? The else part we will use for the content unavailable view, which will render an empty state view when the books are not there, or books array is basically empty. Okay, so we're gonna simply put an else view, and we're gonna have content unavailable view in this case. Okay, content unavailable view takes basically a title and image. Image can be an image or system image with some description and stuff. So let's use the overload that actually takes in system image, because we can apply, or we can basically supply the SF symbol image. Okay, so we're going to say no books yet. Start by adding 1. Okay, and we are going to basically just put a SF symbol of 3 stacks. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this one out. So we're going to build and run, and again we're going to build and run on that new simulator where we have no records. Okay, so as you can see, now our view looks a little bit better because it says no books yet. Start by adding 1. Let me change this view. So no books yet, start by adding 1. Okay, now you can improve upon the content and stuff, but our focus is basically to show empty state. Okay, now let's add a new book. So we're gonna add just some book. Okay, dev techie as the author. Let's add a cover, and we'll choose any book cover. Published year 2024. Okay, we don't have any genre, so we'll just leave it and save the record. Okay, now as you can see that our empty state is no longer visible. Okay, our empty state is gone, and we have our book list view displayed those books nicely. Okay, so as you can see, the content unavailable view works for empty states. Okay, now if we perform a search using the search box at the top, let's see what happens. Well, we are getting no books yet, start adding 1. Well, in this case, it does not it does not represent the correct intent for the search. Since we are searching no books yet and start adding one does not make sense. Let's improve our logic to add another conditional statement where we will show two different content unavailable views, and basically we're going to distinguish when the empty state is being shown for the search term versus the it is shown for an empty list. So what we're going to do is, for the empty state when the search term is empty and there are no books in the books array, we're going to show one view. And for the empty state result when the search term is present and it does not yield any result, we're going to present another content view. Okay, so we're going to simply modify this right here, and we're going to say else if the search term is empty. Okay, so if the search term is empty and well, books were not empty, then we want to show no books yet. And else case is going to be where we want to basically show the try new search term content unavailable view. So content unavailable view, try new search term. All right, so let's go ahead and give this a go, and we should see a better result in this case. So you should not see the empty state because again we are not using our book has something in it. Okay, let's go ahead and search. We're gonna search Harry Potter, and as you can see there is a new content unavailable view. Now the icon is not showing up because I'm pretty sure I have made some spelling mistakes. So let's go ahead and correct that by pasting and rerunning the example. All right, there we go. All right, so we have the icon showing up and the message, the content unavailable view showing up. Now the content unavailable view provides built-in function to show the empty state for search, so we can leverage that instead of creating our custom one. So we're gonna simply say search, and then we're gonna provide the text, which is search term. Now this one has a bit of a nice message, because as you're typing it actually shows the correct meaning, what you can do. It provides the right intent. So Harry, and as you can see when I'm typing Harry, it says no results for Harry, check the spelling or try a new search, which actually gives a better guidance to the user, basically saying that hey, there could be something wrong with this keyword, try another one. Okay, so now as you can see, content unavailable view works great for our books view. Let's go ahead and give a nice facelift to the genre screen as well, and we will actually add a content unavailable view for that view as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the genre list subview. All right, and we're going to do the same thing where we are going to basically simply wrap this for each, actually this list view, inside a group. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually we can put the whole thing inside the group. So group, and say if not genre dot is empty, we want to show the list. Sorry, list we already have in the clipboard, so we're going to paste that. Okay, and actually it's genres, and if that is not the case, then we want to show the content unavailable view with the message time to add new genre. And we are going to display a different icon, SF symbol icon. Okay, so let me go ahead and copy paste, so this time we don't make I don't make any mistake mistyping that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go inside the genre, and as you can see, we have a nice content unavailable view or empty state view showing up, hinting that hey, it's time to add a new genre. All right, with that, we've reached the end of this course, and thank you so much. I hope you learned about SwiftData, and we're going to be in the future courses, we're going to be exploring SwiftData in much more detail, covering all the aspects. So stay tuned and check out devtechie.com. I'll see you guys in another video course. Thank you.